Worldwide, wherever you're listening to us from, we want to appreciate you and thank you big much. I'm not alone in studio. I'm joined by, the bearded Dan Ayebale and the beardless Eddie Matthew Karuhanga. We want to appreciate the queen in you.
Stop your jokes. Stop. But we are on audiovisual version, so everybody can see. Amando Zamula, not as bearded as the gentleman Dan, but of course I am a bearded gentleman.
How do you start a radio show with we're talking about beards, Mr. Host?
Beards.
You are old men and
a beard is something that a man can firmly be proud of and brings confidence to themselves. Yesterday was Woman Crush Wednesday, and we celebrated all men without beards and the queendom in them.
the kingdom in them.
But anyway, how are you, gentlemen? How are you doing?
Okay, it's a good morning from Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. How is everybody today? And thank you for streaming at MCI Radio. I'm proud to be on the puzzle today morning. It's not every day that you'll be hosted by the big man, Joseph El Shaddai himself. So, I'm privileged. I'm proud to be talking sustainable development goals. I'm proud to be on MCI Radio. This is the most growing radio,
the best internet radio station.
Yes, right about now in the whole world, by the way. So. Special kudos to MCI Radio. I'm happy to be here. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. I am a fact checker. I am a journalist. I am a sports reporter. I am a writer. I am an actor.
No. Edgar, no. You will make people feel like for us we don't have titles. Yeah, just be humble.
I'm a human being from Uganda.
Daniel Yebale, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Joseph El Shaddai. I'm happy to be here on the puzzle. Man, it's just a very huge privilege to be hosted by this guy. This guy has gone places. This guy is on TV. Like
he's everywhere.
I mean,
he's on weddings.
On billboards.
He's on billboards.
Let's not get there.
No.
So I'm really so privileged.
But abantu okunsasula serezange.
The brand
brand. Thank you very much, El Shaddai, for keeping it the puzzle. My name is Dan Ayebale. I'm not as much honored. I mean, don't have all those honors like Edgar Matthew Karuhanga.
They are not honors.
But the fact that you are Dana Yebale, that's the title.
If I introduce for you Dana Yebale, you would know that this gentleman is a very big man in this country.
Maybe he's disregarding his titles, and I'll take that opportunity to give it to Edgar. Please introduce Dana Yebale.
In studios, I am with Dan Ayebare. He is my big brother. That is the first title.
Number one.
He is a member of the MCI newsroom. He works with different brands. For example,
he has worked for Uganda Radio Network.
I'm still coming. He has worked with Uganda Radio Network. He's worked with CabMe. He is a Media Challenge fellow. And of course, he is a man who has been behind the Equilibrium, the business show that is making rounds on social media. That is Dan Ayebare for you.
I want to pay you.
Those are eight titles.
Even if you use very many titles on me,
those
you
are
will
10
go home
titles.
empty-handed.
But beautiful people, it is always a privilege to actually be speaking into your faces and into your ears, wherever you're listening to us from. We want to welcome you aboard. This is day 4 of the Media Expo that is happening right here at the MCI Media Hub. We are definitely going to be excited to have you aboard. Those that are joining us via Zoom, those that are joining us on our YouTube channel and Facebook as well, we want to say thank you so much for sparing some time to be with us this particular week, because whatever we are talking about, it does not only, favor us or concern us, but also the entire general public as well. So we had day 1, we had day 2, we had day 3. This is day 4. And for that particular note, I want to say welcome to day 4. Yes, I would actually say that, day 4 here on the puzzle, it is always, thankful Thursday, and we want to actually thank each and every single person that has been part of the expo so far. We want to thank the Almighty God that has enabled us to, be here. We want to thank MCI for organizing such a big, groundbreaking opportunity for young journalists to be able to showcase their talent and be able to actually shine. So I must say, day 4 is going to be very, better. It is going to be so much interesting. But before we delve into what is going to be happening on day 4, we want to actually give you, it's something like a recap of what has been transpiring through all the first days that we had. And probably Dana Yebali and EMK are going to be here to help us really understand as we get to know, as human nature, we tend to forget most of the times. I don't know why, but, we could be here and someone forgot.
Human DNA to forget, because it's actually normal when some people forget. So over time, people start to forget. But
maybe
we are
brains,
going to
maybe
remind them.
Technology is maybe growing, and one day maybe we shall have an artificial brain which doesn't forget. If you're thinking innovations, Kenan thought of his own innovation. I'm thinking about an artificial brain where you have a chip that is put in your head like a memory card, so that you can,
Now, when you start talking about chips, what does the Bible say about chips?
End of the world?
End of the okay.
I don't have to go.
There are several things that actually,
but
point us to the end of the world. But basically, day 1 was here. But before we get even into day 1, Adana Yebali Sofra and Edgar Matthew, how have you found the entire experience of this particular, event? Generally, I will start with you, Edgar.
Okay. First of all, I want to reiterate the fact that what you've said that Media Challenge has organized this expo and for the young people and an opportunity for the young people. I want to reiterate that this opportunity has been coming over time. The Media Challenge has been doing this for the last close to 5 years to 5 to 6 years. So they have been looking for young journalists, identifying, and that's why they dub themselves the next generation of journalists. So they're building the next gen of journalists, and that is something that you do not find every day.
And I think that is so much evident because you cannot speak of any media house here in Kampala, Uganda, and maybe even across the entire African continent, and you don't speak of mans like Dana Yebali.
Of course, and that's the beauty of it, that Media Challenge has spread its wings in the media space of Uganda. It's not just that they've given the journalists, but they have cemented. There is a connection that they have built over time. That every media house you'll go to, at least there will be a link with Media Challenge. So that is what it can actually do. That is what the power of what they are doing.
Maybe I should also mention that beyond people who are working in mainstream media houses, you give it to MCI for equipping with people with skills where they can actually start their own innovations, where they can actually start their own ways of employment in regards to the media. So, I mean, everyone has been through these doors of Media Challenge Initiative can really attest that you can't enter and leave the same person. Even if you don't go into mainstream, be sure you have the skills to do anything you want to do in the media industry.
Dan, there is something they do that is unique, is that they give you a different kind of journalism that you have not found, right? At university, as you know how the education system of this country is. But they introduce you to a kind of journalism that you did not know. Things like data journalism, right? Things that we have not yet known that these things are actually existing. They introduce you to bits that you can actually cover that you didn't know you would cover. And they even expose you to the connections you actually deserve. And El Shaddai, you can bear me witness that from the time you entered the Media Challenge Fellowship, I think you've seen yourself grow, right? Becoming something that is better.
El Shaddai growth is an understatement. Is it growther or growthist? I don't know if those words exist.
That is your English.
But I think most of us, most especially people who have walked through the journey of Media Challenge from the auditions, because one thing I can say about the Media Challenge initiative, that they look for talent. They come to your university and spot you. And there is one person who actually told me that these people work with talents. They do not work with mediocres. If at all you are at the Media Challenge, whether you are a participant, whether you are just happy, attending the expo, just get to know that you are a talent, because class attracts class.
And also,
and real recognizes real.
I must mention also, El Shaddai, that talent doesn't go alone. Maybe to all the students who are participating in this expo this year, talent goes with effort as well. So you don't have the talent and you're like, I'm that much talented, and you want to sit back and they're like, what? They will see my talent.
You have examples?
No, I don't want
talent is seated there. You are seated and you're saying, I am good.
I am good, by the way. If you tell me, if I start reading news.
The blind will see, the lame shall walk. And that is the thing. Opportunity meets the prepared.
Exactly.
People didn't know. if you're not prepared, that means the opportunity is just going to slip off your hands.
But maybe, Dana Yebali, I really want to get to understand your entire experience with the Media Challenge. How did you get to know about the Media Challenge? And how did you get into this particulars, or all these opportunities and platforms that are in place? Starting from when you are at, let's say, at campus, yes. How did you get to know about this? Probably everyone has a different story.
Hey, my story. Yes, let me look into the camera. Now, it was 2017, and I was in school just first year. It was just the first month of joining journalism school. And
you had no idea of what you were going to study.
Yes, I went to journalism knowing that I wanted to be a journalist, but I didn't know about, after studying the degree or the course, where do you really go to. But when I reached the institution, it was just the first month, and Madame Lillian, you know Madame Lillian very well. She's for those who don't know her, she's an administrator at Makerere Business Institute. And she was like, Dan, you know what? There are these guys. Let's call them guys. There are these guys who come here and do competitions for journalism. So I see you're good. Give it a try. So the guys came later, and then, interestingly, in just my first month, she chose me to anchor the English news. And I was like, wow.
Because you're a talent.
No, I didn't.
Regardless, cream will always cream will always rise to the top.
So I get into the news anchoring. I'm partnered with another lady called Sheila. So we get to practice. We go to the expo, and I remember that day we came in the morning, and then we anchored right in the evening at around 7. We had waited for really so long.
Full day.
At the expo.
At the expo.
We didn't have auditions this time around.
Yeah. I wanted to summarize it because there is that audition part of coming to MBI, and then us really showing our talents, and the guys giving us feedback, and then meeting these. I remember there was 2 big personalities. There was Joseph Saviti, there was Mildred Haise, and then you're like, hey, I'm mingling with these guys. And then
you feel like you've reached. You have arrived. You don't even want to greet your neighbors.
Hey, I'm like, today I was with them.
I know the excitement. Hey, akafana ni wafuna ka selfie.
Akafana
oba pasi ya campus walito inawo kasi.
No, inakwiraga mu toyagala kufananya babasere.
The fact is, El Shaddai, everybody who knows Dan knows that he took the picture. Hey, we watch manja akafana ni wake.
Nange manyi mu Uganda.
Mu Mutemagbo.
Nange niraga muko nawe. Nange baselebu banonye.
Friday.
It's the first year.
Now the point is on a serious note.
Yes, General.
Maybe
not that it's pride.
You were shocked.
Not that it's pride anyway, but the point is, El Shaddai, on a serious note, sometimes you don't have to really run and you're like, hey, selfie. You have to give yourself value as a person, isn't it? Am I making sense?
Does that devalue you as a person?
No, I'm like, you all over. Like, you want, like, man, you meet...
No.
Dana Eba, let me tell you. Let me tell you. There is no way at any single time I will meet Alan Kasuja anywhere and I don't grab, let's say, a handshake or introduce myself to him.
Thank you very much.
That's the thing.
A handshake, introduce yourself, talk business or sense, and not just, I want a picture. Like, what does the picture add to you?
Now, what business are you going to have with Alan Kasuja?
Okay, ask for mentorship.
Maybe Dan is right when he says just go talk to him, introduce yourself, make a friend, and maybe a picture will come later.
A picture is a bonus. That's my point.
That's the thing, of course. You're not going to go there and just say directly, I want a pic. Because the thing
back to my story anyway.
Before.
Back to my story.
We still have time.
We don't have time. Dana Yebale.
Back to my story. Okay, and then maybe to the expo we anchor, and there were on that competition. I remember the guys that were really outstanding. We were also outstanding by the way, but then maybe who were more outstanding, maybe who won the awards that year was the likes of Buchana, who is at NBS, the likes of Sandra NTV, and then later the awards. You know, when you've done your part. In your head, if you believe in yourself, you're like, I have to get an award. So you got the awards, and in my head, I'm like, I'm not practicing the what do they call it? Acceptance speech.
Acceptance speech, the
From
walk.
You're like, now, when they give me the award, I walk to the podium.
This is how I speak.
This is how I speak. I want to thank my landlord
For not giving me hard time.
for not giving me a time.
If that is if you didn't give you hard time.
I want to thank my ex-girlfriend for leaving me alone and I concentrate.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why it's not we go to
Serena.
sorry. And then the awards night, people won awards. Unlucky for me, I walked home.
Ngalonsa without any
Is that
award.
lucky for you?
Unlucky for me.
Unlucky.
So,
That's 2017.
yes, and then I woke. I remember that day I didn't have enough money on myself, and from there I woke paka downtown nenga mutima ngamba man nikaodi sikafunye. But as a person who is really resilient in mind, I'm like next time better.
I'll get it.
But just a question I would love to pose to Dan. How did that actually, that first year as you took part in the expo and you didn't get an award, how did it affect you? Being the time
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of people who participate and they feel like they've done it all.
Yes.
And then, unfortunately, they don't win anything and they give up.
You don't get at your first chance. How did that, did it influence you in the other days, in the other years that came? How was the experience?
My philosophy of such a thing is that if it is your time will come.
It will be your time.
It will be your time.
Is that what you thought in that particular
Of course,
moment?
I won't hide that I felt bad. You have to feel bad for a moment, but you have to pick yourself up. You have to dust your shoes and go for the what? For the trophy. So, not getting an award on that day was a little disappointment for me. But then, for any guy out there who's really trying to get into the expo and stuff like that, if you don't get the award, that doesn't mean that you're a loser.
Please say that again, most especially for the participants that are into this particular expo, because we have over 100 people that are participating, or even more than those, but we have limited awards that are given.
Yes.
Tell them once again.
Straight in the camera. If you don't win an award, you're still a winner. For you to be able to participate in that competition, that's what matters for me. For you to be able to put together a news story, and then we have these kind of judges talking about giving you feedback, and then you being out there, your face being seen. It's don't really feel bad about it.
So then, cutting the whole story short, you find yourself into the Media Challenge Fellowship, a fellowship that is given to only 26 fellows. Did you win an award over that particular period of time, and what year did you actually join the fellowship?
I never won an award.
Never?
I applied normally. And I made it to the top 26. And that was one of the best moments of my life, man. That phone call, like, hello, Dan, you're into the fellowship. Wow. I'm like, yo.
From 2017 trying, 2018 trying, then you get in 2000.
The Expo of 19, I'm selected for the 2020. And then, yeah, the rest is what?
History. Now, this goes to all the participants in this particular, expo. You might actually be participating in 2021, but your chance might be in 2023.
No, please don't say. Your chance is now. Your chance is now.
Let me tell you something.
Your chance is now.
Let us be realistic.
I would love to, because not all of them are going to actually.
Exactly. Let's be realistic.
But the thing is this, for me, I want to read the students who are taking part in the expo. I want to read them a motto or a creed. It's what they call an Olympic creed. Now, an Olympic creed is the basis why the Olympic Games were actually founded. In the first place. These are the biggest games in the world.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, they're bigger than World Cup, and it's the biggest game in the world. So the Olympic creed says that the important thing in life is not the triumph, but the fight. The essential thing is not to have won, but to have fought well. So,
very key.
That is the thing. I want people to realize that winning is relative.
Exactly.
It depends on what you think winning is. First of all,
is it the attitude that we need to actually change?
So being on stage already, if you have been able to compile a news bulletin, to go through this aggressive expo, because trust me,
very
the
vigorous.
Expo is aggressive, and if we bring some of the students here, they will tell you that I'm telling you they have had controversies. Some have argued, flames have gone high.
And this one is actually so much way different from the past experiences.
So that is how intense it is. Now, the thing is, if you have been able to compile a news bulletin, to compile a story, and come in front of the people, the judges, and present it in the way it has been presented, and the way you have done it, whether you have executed it like El Shaddai can do it, or like any other person, as long as you have showed up. Because, of course, the goal is not, most of the times winning. Sometimes it's showing up.
Show up.
Show what you've got, and I'm telling you, what El Shaddai is saying is right. Today, you might not even get to the fellowship, right?
Among the titles you didn't tell us about yourself is that you're a motivational speaker.
No, that is the... People have biases on motivational speakers, but okay.
Maybe your story is different. And after 3 years of participating and never winning any award, because most of the people think that whoever wins an award has a direct pass into the fellowship. And to me, the fellowship is the epitome of this particular.
It's not the awards.
It's not the awards, you understand? So Danny's 3 years of participating and finally getting into the fellowship should be a story that is going to encourage that young person who thinks that once I fail this year, I'm done. I'm maybe not even good enough. Trust me, you participated in the times of the Julius Buchanas, you understand, the Sandras, and now you are on the same level now as we speak. But then someone would say Dan is a failure. But in your mind and attitude, you're like, I'll definitely make it.
Who could even dare say that?
Edgar Matthew, I know you also have a very different experience in this particular one. How was your experience before we maybe delve into something else?
Yeah, mine was peculiar and different because Media Challenge, I had known of Media Challenge from my first year when I entered university. But the problem, I had some challenges in my first and second year that every time Media Challenge came through, I always found myself on the hustle.
School fees.
The first years. I would always be on the hustle. So and you remember they would come, Media Challenge, you remember very well, they would come in November. November is the time when you're doing papers as well.
You have to look for that money.
For the money. So it used to hurt me because my university would tell me, and all guys, man, you come through. But I used not to go to the audition. So, fortunately, in my third year, that is when Media Challenge comes through, and I was, by then I had deep sorted my life, and I was comfortable. So when they came through, I was at the university, and they told me, this time round, you have to
participate.
Take part. And so I was the lead for our team. We went through the auditions. The auditions were my best part. I'm remembering Ali coming through. There was Simon and all these guys. And Antonio was training us about mobile journalism. We did the auditions. And it was, for me, because I have, for people who know me, I've loved journalism from scratch. So it was something that I embraced with all my life because I felt like now this is a time when I have to showcase what I've got to the world. So when we went to...
Remember, you were at the age of going out of school.
So I was the age. And I had reached a point when I was quitting on media. I was like, you know what? I think
let me quit.
Other things are better. Media
surely.
And I used to have...
Let me chip in. What was your plan B?
I was doing an Uber driving by then, and I felt that would be plan B. And then the epitome of the plan B was joining the UPDF because I had actually...
Wow! Actually, me personally, I wanted to join the army. I wanted to join the army if all these things failed. And maybe probably even when I practice journalism, I can still join the army. You understand?
Yes.
So getting into the,
that is the main
story.
thing. So when we started doing the auditions, it was good. I went for the expo later. After the auditions, we started the expo. That was at Macron Suits. We did the expo. I remember doing with El Shaddai. The hustle was in the expo. I don't want to talk about it because it's a long story. El Shaddai,
but maybe it could be an encouragement to someone who is going to audition tomorrow.
Don't mention that. You're going to mention.
No, but this one is
hold it in.
No. Edgar Matthew, this is a reality talk, and this no. These participants who are listening and maybe any younger, hopeful, who is actually coming into this particular journey,
now,
they have to get to know this.
You guys, we needed to register for Media Challenge, right? We need 150,000. The university was not willing to pay 150,000, more or less the lunch and the supper. So, we had to first look for money for registering.
Exactly.
To take part in the expo. So it was me and my team, and we were hitting his money. So we brought out money. Now remember, we had paid for registration. We didn't pay for lunch. And remember, we were going to Anchor. It was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then that Sunday.
You anchor after lunch.
We were there. I remember on the first day, I didn't have anything to eat. I woke up early. I came. I'm there. I'm hungry. They're talking about panels. I'm not understanding anything.
Climate change.
Now time
Andrew
for lunch
Mwenda
came.
is talking.
Time for lunch came. Do you know who rescued me? The big man himself. I went as I can. Pakutiketiza mwe. So that is the hustle we went through, man. And I think it was just a passage that God had prepared. I'm thinking, because these things were all, you were seeing it's very difficult, but it was going somewhere. And I'm telling you, we went through those 2 days. I didn't eat. I only ate lunch on the first day because El Shaddai got me a ticket. The second day, I hustled around. Then the third day is when I was going to anchor the news. And I was going right after lunch. So Simon, the general manager here, tells me, man, you cannot go on set when you're hungry. So Simon had to give me some money. I had to go downtown, buy something to eat, then come back. So it was so much of a hustle. Then fortunately,
I just imagine you going to Anchor News, and then remember, Zanadu Collections is you have to actually look for a restaurant, and the nearest restaurant I think is at Garden City.
yes.
And the price of the meals.
And the price.
I had to go down to the DT. For me, I had to go down to city center, guys, to
Man.
gain flight. That is the hustle. But I'm telling you.
Can you write this book?
I'm telling you guys, it is one of the most. That's why I'm saying that being at Media Challenge is not a mistake. Me being here is not a mistake, because it was more of something that was intentional.
It is something that is built
Yes,
gradually.
because I'm telling you, we registered for the expo on Friday when the expo was starting. That is how, and we looked for money, and it wasn't the university giving us money. It was us looking for.
Okay.
Our
Since
small money.
since
So you see that it was
Edgar
going
also
somewhere.
mentioned, did him also mention it?
Yeah.
Man. I never heard.
It seems like there is the unknown that is yet to unfold
People
here.
look at
Dana
the
Yebali,
different
because
No,
these are stories that we need to actually tell young people.
The point is, we are not. Well, we've moved from A to B, but of course there is still where to go. But for the steps a person makes, there are stories they never tell you. There are stories they never tell you. Maybe
The
these
stories of failures, right?
but these days people have normalized telling them. By the way,
Because you know what, people, there is someone who told me, actually, this was, it was one of the greatest radio presenters, and that is Ryan Seacrest.
Wow.
He says, when you're speaking to people, they always want to hear your story because most of the times we hear people's stories. And as journalists, we move out to source people's stories.
We never
But
tell
if at all
ours.
someone knows your story, they will be in position to relate to and identify
resonate with
with
you,
you.
yeah.
You understand? So, Dan, to me personally, my entire experience is way different, probably. But
Go to kusula one if you start your story. Let's go to another thing.
But you
You were talking
you're
about
part of my
something,
story.
Empress.
Yes, there's something you wanted to blend.
No, like to mention that also my first year, I anchored at 7, but my stomach was empty.
Yeah.
so we want to actually appreciate the Media Challenge initiative. This time round, this expo, I think, is one of the top-notch expos that we've seen so far. Looking at the nature of it, it is virtual. It is both physical and virtual. Meals are there on time. You know, you can eat chicken every day, every day.
Every day you're eating chicken.
El Shaddai,
But the
El
thing is,
Shaddai.
for me, I would even want
Shaddai, the story of food you've lived, you like talking food.
you know, else. For me, I want to look at Media Challenge as people who have, when they sit back in their old age, all the members of the Media Challenge, mostly the big boys, these guys, when they will sit back 50 years from now or 30 years from now and they're home and they're retired, I think they will be satisfied with what they have done, because I feel like they have impacted, right? And we always want to live a life of impacting.
And I
These
think
gentlemen
that's
sit
where
back.
satisfaction comes from.
That's what I'm
Dan.
saying. They will sit back and I'm picturing a bus, and I'm saying a bus ojalabanga matoke gagenda wo. Ojakuwa oliwaka just olabeko konga
balina
matoke
abazzukulu.
That is the thing. That is the thing about purpose. You see, Mbuno Bobo bategera purpose yabwe, and then they went down and actually worked on their purpose, creating an impact not only in the lives of individuals but also in a sector, in the media sector of this country. So
Well, that is so much interesting, and maybe to jump onto that particular one. There is a gentleman I know in my neighborhood who actually used his youthful time very well. He was so much privileged. He has a very good job. He used to earn a lot of money, but he then used to to think, what should I use this money for? Tell me, tell you what. He went ahead and paid school fees for kids in the neighborhood, about 30 kids in the neighborhood. 15 years down the road, this man had lost the job. This man had a family. This man, his kids started to go to school, but they never had school fees. But again, guess what? Who came to the rescue? The people that this gentleman paid school fees for. Right now, as I speak, this man owns a big mansion being built by the kids he took to school. Then his kids go to the best schools in the country. All school fees being paid. Remember, he has 4 kids, but he paid 50 school fees for over 30 kids. So every kid would say, I will pay school fees for Edgar. I will pay, this one is school fees. Me, I will pay the scholastic materials. And at the end of the day, this gentleman never asks for anything.
That's
Everything
the
is being
beauty of
put.
purpose.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of purpose.
But El Shaddai, there's something I need, aside from that, there's something I need us to talk about.
Yeah.
This fellowship, this expo and the competition, the inter-university competition, there's something about working in teams. And like we said,
I think that has been the hardest experience ever. To me, it is
Because,
so hard.
yeah, people are coming from diverse.
no, listen up. I need us to have this conversation and see where I might have an opinion that is different from yours. What is better between working with someone you've seen for 1 or 2 years, or be in the same lecture room with, and versus the one who you've just met here and they pair them up with you? What do you think is harder? I think I have a different opinion. Let me first have yours.
My opinion would definitely be that, working with someone that you've never met or you're meeting for the very first time would be a greater opportunity for you to be able to adapt to any kind of environment. For example, this is a preparation for you to be able to go out into the workspace whereby you're going to earn yourself a job in a particular media house. None of the people you're going to find there you've worked with. None of them you've been with for maybe a long time, but then you need to actually be productive. Yeah. You need to work with a producer who is Edgar Matthew Karanga that you're meeting for the very first time. You need to work with a news editor that you're meeting for the very first time, and you are the reporter. You understand? Yeah. So me, I think working in a team that lowers down, someone attention.
In which kind of environment would you rather work?
I would rather work in an environment whereby I'm meeting you for the very first time, or we've met for the shortest time.
Or maybe because you've been in the fellowship and then that field opened you to that. Think about when you were joining the inter-university competition.
Exactly, the reality will definitely stay. And anyone wants to work with convenience. Anyone wants to work with people they know. But to me, who has been into a media house, I've met people that I didn't even think that I would ever meet. You understand? But then they give you someone who is rude. You understand? They give you someone who is authoritative, someone who's not going to listen to you, someone whose agenda has to be achieved first before yours. So you need to be able to adapt and adjust to that changing environment, Dan. So basically for me, as someone who has been into this experience, I would rather choose this one, because I know when I get into a place whereby I'm working with a Dana Yevale I know, whereby I'm working with a one Edgar Matthew that I know, it will be just a smooth ride for me.
What's your thought about that, Edgar?
I will look at it from a perspective of, working with people is relative. Like, there are people who, when you work with people right, it comes out easy. Like, because you want, you already know. But then the problem is it creates a room for complacency, right? That, Dan is my man. So... But when you are on a foreign team or in an alien team, that means there is room for accountability.
Exactly.
There's no jokes. You have to be accountable for what you're doing. Now we've been paired together, and you're not going to pull me down just because I don't know you. You have to bring your 50. I have to bring my 50 at the end of the day. So that is a very that is the perspective I would like to look at it from. And this year's expo is going to. It is also teaching you. Many people are always in their bubble, their shelf, and they rarely want to reach out to make new bonds. So the moment you make a new bond, trust me, there's going to be a bit of you're meeting new people, you're meeting new ideas, and then at the end of the day, it's better for you to work with someone you don't.
We are all football, lovers, and we follow soccer very much. I will give you an example of a football team. Always a good person in a football team will be noticed regardless of the weakness of the entire team.
Definitely.
You understand?
Yeah.
So even
I
if you
was telling
say
someone
that the team they gave me is weaker, we'll definitely tell that Dana Yebale is a good reporter. You understand? We'll definitely tell
will
that
always
Edgar
stand
Matthew
out.
Karuhanga is a good producer. You understand? Regardless of the weakness. But however, you definitely have to use your strength to actually make these other fellow members also stronger as you. That's when we see teamwork.
And you know, El Shaddai, you've talked about that, and that is it's funny because yesterday I was talking to some of the participants, and as I was telling you, the flames we had, the boys are having the same flames. So and they were flaming up, and this gentleman was telling me it's not coming out well. I feel like I'm being exploited. Just a minute, Dan. I feel like I'm being exploited, and I'm like, no, you're not being exploited. Yes, you're working people. But at this, you will always shine. I was making the same iteration you made. You will always shine nonetheless. When you're good at what you're doing, your craft, trust me, you will always stand out.
But again, I would disagree with you. Oh, actually, I will be contrary with you, Edgar. If at all someone uses their strength to uplift the weak, that's then when we'll counter leader.
But do the weak want to be uplifted?
They might be, wanting, but when someone wants to overshadow the entire team, that's also something bad.
Someone is doing
Everything. You understand? There is also that syndrome whereby you want to be the editor, you want to be the producer, you want to be the
But there's
anchor.
a problem. You will have a team where others don't want to work.
I know in these teams, at the end of the day, let's be honest, there are always some selfish one.
Of course,
Exactly.
characters.
Of course.
They
No,
will
I'm
never
like,
miss-
not
Yeah,
selfish.
Reality.
Each one of you
Reality.
really
No,
says
it
we
is-
are in a team.
The fact is,
The point is, we are in a team, right?
but
Let's be honest, very honest, and say, when you go back home, you'll be like, I want to get an award or maybe get you the fellowship as who?
As a day,
Let's
Yeah,
be honest
even if
first.
I'm saying you should use us. At the end of the day, it's in the human DNA
Goes back
to
to you.
always want
So-
to what? To reach,
so
to stand
let me ask you, should I
Even on
something?
the show, they
But
will
still, I
always
would
do that.
disagree with you, gentlemen. I would disagree with you, gentlemen.
Let them
Because
finish
if
the
at all
point.
everyone does their responsibility assigned to them, I think a team will be counted a good team. When Dana Yebale does his production very well, Edgar Matthew does his reporting very well, Awan El Shaddai comes and anchors very well, then we'll say, but it's so disgusting and disappointing. If Dana Yebale wants to be the editor, he wants to be the anchor, he also wants to be the reporter at the same time. Then what happens to the rest of the team members that, feel like they have been left out? That is a selfish interest that we're talking about.
I'm telling you the truth. Like, we're being honest. Let's not just sanitize it.
Let's speak the reality.
Let's don't
It is a
sanitize it.
human ego.
It's
Human
within a
egos
human.
want to always
That at the end
stand
of
out.
the day,
Yes.
at the end of the day, it will go back to your selfish what?
Yes, your interest as an
So
individual.
let me ask you, El Shaddai. On a selfish point of view, which is in every human being, you agree, right? Would you rather work in a team of stars or in a team of
Your face.
people you can live down, you can maybe beat down, and I'm like, I'm the man.
Everyone wants to play for the best team. That's why Mbappe is struggling to get into Real Madrid.
Though is Real Madrid still the best team? Then
It is a good team. It has. But anyway, beautiful people that are joining us or following us via every platform that you're following us. We are into day 4 of the Media Expo. And the hashtag is hashtag Media Expo UG. Follow the conversations as they go ahead to unfold on Twitter. You can leave a comment on our Facebook where we're streaming live. Our YouTube channel is also up and running, as well as you can download the MCI Radio app from the Google Play Store and be good to go. This is a platform for African voices, and we say that this is a platform for young people as well. Your voice to be heard, this is a space for you to be in. So basically, we are definitely going to be having quite a lot of different things that will be coming through. Today we have skills building workshop sessions for students, and of course strategic marketing and communication that will be happening in the TV studio with Evelyn Rodriguez Amas from DW. She is a DW volunteer. We'll later on have different other things that will be going on. But as far as I speak, it is a race against time for particular participants to be able to compile the stories that have gone ahead to actually happen, because tomorrow is going to be another vigorous day for them. This is a day that I've actually been waiting for. That will be tomorrow. We are waiting
Everyone
to
has
see.
been waiting for that day.
Everyone will
pressure.
definitely see. I can't forget that particular day.
And I'm telling you, I know how they are going to feel. I don't know. I feel like I know because I've been there.
You know.
So it's going to be easy, guys. I know you're tuned in, but it's going to be easy. But it all takes.
But if you want to know the pressure,
courage.
ask El Shaddai. El Shaddai, when he was anchoring, El Shaddai is a very confident human being.
I
like,
remember. El Shaddai
but
came
he reached
after
the
me.
stage, when he held the script like this, and he started.
Let's not get there. Don't start. I will mute your microphone.
Sure, that's what he did.
I will mute your microphone.
And then, let me do this. El
I
Shaddai.
remember he came
Let me do
after
this. Let me
me,
do
but
this.
I
Let me
had
do this.
also
El Shaddai was
another
like-
devastating
El
experience.
Shaddai was like, good morning and welcome to MBI TV. My name is I beg your pardon. Good morning and thank you for tuning in to MBI TV. My name is El Shaddai and let's go.
Let me tell you what you're missing.
let
I
me
did a very nice introduction, but the problem came with my first story. Remember, we are supposed to be using a teleprompter, but again, I think it failed for
So we had to
particular
use the
reasons.
papers.
So I had to use the papers. I remember very well,
understand
I
it.
called the word conservation conversation.
You guys, the expo.
My bald head was sweating, I think my heartbeat was, I don't know how many BBLs were beating on.
second.
I don't know.
But El Shaddai has, because I remember El Shaddai came after me. I was just from set, then they called Joseph El Shaddai. Now, for me, I had a devastating experience prior because I was anchoring with a lady, and I came, did my introduction and called attention and everything. Then we started anchoring, and there's a way we started contradicting the stories, me and the lady, and frustration started flaming up. And
Maybe speaking about that, it is another trend that is being picked up, most especially in the newsrooms. Duo anchors, you have to be paired. If it's not a lady and a lady, it's always a gentleman and a lady. How does that experience? Because me personally, I think, I didn't actually do that.
alone, yeah.
I
You
did
did
it once, alone rather. I don't know. How was your experience?
First of all, Ngavira is listening in. We had the toughest time of our life. But then,
It's time to confess.
yeah, if I'm...
Hey, so you want to speak on air that you were crapping every day?
No, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm like, you're saying, you're choosing your words wisely because she's listening, eh?
Okay.
The thing is this. So I anchored with her, but we had practiced prior because I was studying with her in the same class, and we had done these things. But she wasn't able to control the nerves, and you know the nerves are naturally going to be there. That is the thing.
They're
I was also nervous,
uncontrollable.
yeah. So the thing is, we had started smooth. The problem came in when she was on panic, and she was supposed to do the first story. I was supposed to do the second story. Then she comes back with the third story. I come back with the live reporter. Then we do the conclusion. Now the challenge came in that she did her first story. So as this footage was running, she forgot that footage was running. She continued.
came
to
back
the
with
third
another
story.
story.
Yet I was the one supposed to come. So when she reads the third story, they play footage of the second story, which I was supposed to do what? To anchor. That's the confusion. So when it came back to me, I had to first reiterate to the audience that, you know what, this story was not the same as the footage. The story for the footage is this, and now this is for the third.
Remember, it was also a race against time.
That's the thing. And it was a race against time, and flames are high, and it was fun, but a challenge as well.
Well, we know various people have different experiences, and even when you get the best that are doing it, apparently they will tell you that that day it was a very terrible day for them. I know even if we bring Buchana here, even if we bring Paul Kayonga, even if we bring Sandra, they will definitely tell you that that day they do not know why the flames get up. You understand? But it is always a very beautiful experience. Last time I was talking.
It's always a hub for stars. There is a place where stars are made. There is a place
Exactly. I was talking to Mr. Brasi, the CEO, talking about that scenario whereby I was stammering, I was begging to lay, I was asking for pardon each and every single now and then. I was like, I don't even want to show my kids that particular footage.
Right?
But he was like, wait a minute, you need to actually keep that and tell a story that this is where I started from, and now I might not be in that position to, beg lays and, pardon myself.
I was also talking to Mr. CEO, and Mr. CEO he saw one of my fact checks, and he told me, if you look at your first video as your news anchoring, you would actually just run away. And the fact is, when I look at that video, there's a video I did, and this was not actually at the expo. This was actually in the fellowship, as we were doing the morning shows. So when I did this video, I froze. I lost words. Okay. I lost what to say. I was just there. I was nervous in every direction. So what you guys are going to go through is something that is normal. And so expect all that, but at the end of the day, it all goes back to how you can master your nerves. If you can master your nerves well and try to work under pressure, you'll do and you'll execute and you'll be the best at your craft.
By the way, we're talking about TV reporters and anchors. We're not talking about these others, the guys who did the radio
features, the cartoons.
the essays. Man, I think maybe the pressure is with the person who's in front of the camera, maybe anchoring.
Mostly.
But the truth is, even those guys do a great job. If you really handed in a radio feature, you're doing great. I assure you that won't go in vain. Because
it's already work.
It's already work. If you wrote an essay, we always mention these things here. People always mention these things here, that your second will always be better than your first. And if you purpose to do something, whatever it is, if you purpose to develop a skill, whatever it is, if you give it time, if you're consistent with it, if you really keep on keeping on, the truth is that you'll always improve. So guys out there trying to put together your work, please, I thank you, and I want to say that you are not doing it in vain, and I want to show that you're stars.
Dan, maybe I want to also pick your mind, if it's okay.
Please do.
That when you look at what these guys are going through, I've been talking to some of them, and some of them are reiterating that they want to give up.
Why?
He has looked for a story. Yes,
before even
the story angle.
Giving up is never an option.
It's the same thing I was telling these people. I was telling them, okay, think about anything else, but giving up is the last.
There's a saying where they say, if you can't run, at least walk. If you can't walk,
crawl.
At least crawl. But the point is, keep moving. Don't stop. So if you're out there and you feel like maybe I haven't really gotten an angle for my story, I'm not getting the interviews, the beauty with MCI, the beauty with this hub is that the support system is strong enough for you to walk out to anyone you see and they're like, please, if you can't help, they can at least direct you in the right direction. Antonio Chisembe is doing a very good job out there.
Exactly.
And no one should really say that I'm going to give up because I'm failing to do some sizable portion of the story I must put out. Yeah. But when there is everyone out there, every other part of the team willing to help.
Because the thing is, even in reality in life, you never run away from your problems.
Yeah, definitely.
But
gentlemen, I think that entire time that we've dedicated to actually throw back to what our experiences have been like is incredibly worthwhile. But we want to actually get into this particular year's Expo, talking about all conversations around SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. We started off on day one, that was Monday, the 8th of November, and we are going all the way till tomorrow. But a lot has really transpired from actually understanding what SDGs entail to getting into the nitty-gritties of these particular SDGs, because to most of the young people out there, I would say, to me personally, partially it has been sort of rocket science. There are certain SDGs that have not been so much acquainted with, but I think with this particular time that we've been able to actually converse and have different discussions, I've come to a point of of realizing that, hey, this is how this works and this is how this particular one impacts. So we were here day one, maybe telling people about the SDGs. If this is your very first time to jump on this particular conversation, this was a 2030 agenda for sustainable development with its 17 SDGs that was adopted at the UN Sustainable Development Summit that was in New York in September 2015. So the goal goes up to 2030. Basically, what do you understand when we say sustainable development goals so far?
So far, okay. Now, the thing is, Sustainable Development Goals is an initiative that was launched. By the way, it's a global initiative, first of all, people should. These are some of the goals that we're looking at achieving by 2030. Whether we shall have achieved them by 2030, that is a question that we cannot answer today. But these are some of the goals that we are looking at that will bring a level, or that will build a level of humanity to another level. Like when you're removing poverty, when you're reducing inequalities, gender equality, partnerships, and climate change, and things like that. All of that wants to just build a better country at the end of the day. And when you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, these are mostly steps towards achieving the biodiversity framework by 2050.
By 2050.
Yeah. Now, this one seeks to create awareness and seeks to create. It's called. I want to use the same words they used. It's about creating peace between humanity and the environment.
And the environment.
Yes. So when you look at, if we achieve these goals, and if we put more emphasis on these goals, trust me, we are going to by 2050. The continent and the whole world will actually be on another level. But the question is, as Africans, because I want to bring it back to Africa, have we done enough to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals? Do we know the Sustainable Development Goals enough yet?
Dana Yebale, can you be in position to actually answer that?
As Africans,
from your own perception, are we there, or are we actually internalize what SDGs entail? In just a minute.
For me, I think you can't really put this SDGs mission on just one continent to do it.
I'm not putting it on one continent. Then I want you to first understand my perspective, because now you're getting another perspective. I'm not putting it on one continent, but I'm saying we as a continent, because we are known to lag behind in most of these global initiatives. So as Africa, pertaining the Sustainable Development Goals, are we doing what is enough to actually add on to the work of Europe, on Asia, and other continents to make sure by 2030 we have achieved these Sustainable Development Goals?
Yeah, I get your point, but I will insist that giving you an answer where I give an answer about Africa on its own could be quite impossible, because these goals are a concerted effort of all the continents, all the countries in the world. So if you want to analyze where we are or we're going right now, you don't just say, maybe I'm going to analyze Africa on its own, I'm going to analyze Uganda on its own, or I'm going to analyze Kansango, Kabalagara on its own. So for me, I think some of these goals are really ambitious, because I take an example of the no poverty SDG, and when I look back to what things I've seen around this country, for
after
example,
COVID-19.
And after COVID-19 and the recovery that is really needed, I think COVID-19 pegged us back, that's one. And two, even the reality that is on the ground is that you can't really wake up one day and you're like, you're ending poverty in just one day. But then I must appreciate that steps can be taken towards that goal.
Towards the goal.
But honestly speaking, it will be a long way to go, but hopefully we can make very great strides.
But I want to also pick your mind.
Let's just before you pick my mind, Tracy is on standby to actually give us an experience that is happening in the newsroom, whereby students and participants are racing against time to see that they compile their stories for the big day that will be happening tomorrow. I don't know if Tracy, you can hear me, but if you do, please respond to me, because we want to actually have a feel of how it feels like to be in that particular space. Tracy.
I can't hear them.
Tracy, we can hear
Tracy,
you.
we can hear you.
I can hear you, Tracy, though you can't hear them.
Welcome everyone to MCI Media Hub. I'm reporting live behind the scenes of the newsroom. I don't know if you can hear me, but I hope your morning
can hear you
is
excellently.
lovely, lovely, lovely. I am in the newsroom, behind the scenes, where the 6 teams are sort of compiling their stories, and then we get to see how exactly they're doing this. Are you excited?
Yes.
Please, we are excited to
Very
actually have
excited
that
here.
experience.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. As you can see, right behind me, different students doing the compilation, doing the editing.
Tracy, tell them not to run away, because it looks like they are trying to run away from the camera and the interview.
Our journalists
Tell them-
running away from the
why should
camera.
journalists run away from the camera? It's surprising.
We are yet to find out why they would hide sort of away from the camera. I think they're actually trying to look for stories, source their stories, and sort of, because this is the last day before the competitions that are scheduled to happen tomorrow.
Well, I really want to find out from you, Tracy, if at all you can get me a few people to actually tell us how it feels like to work in teams of, people they have just met here, and probably telling us how it has been like to source those particular stories.
Absolutely, El Shaddai. And if you could, just come and sort of with me on this journey as I check out the different students and how exactly their experience has been in sort of, compiling these stories and coming up with these different topics. With me this morning is
Joshua Caleb Muyenza.
Joshua Caleb Muyinza. How are you this morning?
All right. It's trying to finish up as soon as possible.
Okay. And how has your team sort of, come up with this year's theme? Like, what sort of stories are you trying to build, and what's sort of motivating you this time?
Basically, what's motivating us is simply the SDGs, the fact that we have to see all of them through and cover them. So what we're talking about covering them and promoting their coverage, is exactly what we're doing as we're competing. So it's basically driving us to actually be better journalists.
Okay. Would you say you're ready?
60%.
60%. El Shaddai just we have 60%, and maybe
have a question
just
for Caleb.
to sort of,
Before you leave, Caleb.
the gender equality SDG is still ongoing. I'm going to ask a lady to sort of tell us what her experience has been in trying to cover these stories. Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you.
Your name and institution?
I'm Najita Durose from Makerere University.
From Makerere University. We have a newsroom this year from Makerere University trying to compile it. So how has your journey been so far?
It has been challenging, but I'm trying to cope up.
Okay, would you say, do you have, what are some of the tips you would give the other newsrooms, teams in sort of, making sure they're done just in time for the competitions tomorrow?
I advise them to always get ready for all these competitions, and to always focus on the principles of journalism, because all of the things I've learned here during the expo have learned that we have to carry our principle of journalism with
Awesome. Makerere has previously won this particular
Tracy, can you hear
expo.
us?
I'm sort of trying to wonder, are you up for that challenge to sort of retain this particular title?
Yes, I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, looks like Makerere will be the team to win at this year's, or is it your team? Back to you, El Shaddai.
Tracy, I really want to find out from you. There is one important aspect that I'm so much interested to find out. These students are working in teams whereby they are coming from different universities. I really want to understand how it feels like to work in a team of people that are like sort of strangers, for lack of a better word, and how they've been able to cooperate.
Sorry, El Shaddai, could you just speak a little louder? I couldn't hear you.
My question is, these students, we very well know that they are coming from different universities, and all the 6 teams, have different students from different universities. I want to find out how the cooperation has been like working in teams whereby everyone looks to be a stranger.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out how that has sort of gone this year. For example, Caleb Muyinza. In this particular expo, we have teams that are not sort of like from the same institution, but are sort of working together to cover these news stories. So how has it been? How challenging has it been to sort of work with a stranger from a different institution in the shortest time possible to deliver a good story?
Yes, particularly I think it's actually more empowering. For most people, we find most people have a hard time working with teams. But being able to actually learn how to work with a team that you don't necessarily have a relationship previously allows you to actually be a better person, not just in the newsroom, but even out there. That when I meet someone, we can all come together. For example, the partnerships.
Secret. Let me talk to just one more person. A lady. I love to make sure the numbers are equal. Hi, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's your name and which institution will you be representing?
My name is Sarah Kechumli, and I'm representing the Academy of 2021 at MCI.
How has it been with you and sourcing these different, news stories, getting your sources? How challenging has it been to sort of do that in the quickest time possible, but still cover a good story?
It hasn't been easy, but you go in the field and you want a source to give you the details you want, but they are not easy to get what you want. Most people want to dodge you. They'll be like, no, we don't. They fear the camera. So that has been the challenge I've been facing with my team. But at least we have tried to get all the sources we have been asked to.
Awesome. And maybe the gentleman next to me, I'm going to pose just one question. Just tell me, Shirley, what is your name and which institution you'll be representing?
Well, my name is Solomon Chisache. I'm going to be representing the MCI Academy. Yes.
Okay. So in your challenges of finding the right sources or getting, sort of your subjects to talk about these, how have you taken care of that particular challenge where like your source does not entirely want to be covered on camera or actually give an interview? How have you overcome that challenge?
Well, it comes with convincing the source. You really have to talk to the source and convince them. But equally, if a source turns you down, you have to look for a relatable source that can address that particular aspect that you're looking for. Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think you've heard it all from the news teams. They are ready, they are editing, they are compiling, they are voicing over their stories, and looking forward to the competition tomorrow. Back to you in studios, El Shaddai.
Well,
I had a question for Tracy. I don't know if she can answer it right now. Tracy, if you can hear me, just a last question that I would like to pose to the students right there is maybe to ask Sache Solomon, who is donning on that KCCA yellow shirt that KCCA is not doing well. But what is frightening them this time around? Because I want to get a feel of the goosebumps. Where are they coming from? Are they frightened even in the first case? So, Tracy, if you may, you can just pick one or two students to just represent the rest and tell me how are they feeling? Are they frightened? Are they anxious? How's the feeling right now?
He has had it. Solomon Chisache, tell us what that is for you.
Well, we as the Academy, we are not that scared. We are confident of our work and what we have done so far. We have been, we've planned fully for this, and I think we shall be the best this year. Yes.
You've had it all, Edgar. No nerves. They have been ready. They are not scared to take on this particular challenge, and that is what we've heard from the news team from the Academy this year.
All right, thank you,
well,
Tracy.
thank you so much, Tracy, for that kind of, up-to-pace speed that you've brought us to. Now we understand the feel. Edgar Matthew, you remember very well that time. It was Race Against time to compile a story.
Yeah, I'm even proud of these boys, and because he tells you they are not afraid, they're not frightened. I was frightened.
And actually, I remember the interviews
frightened.
those days. Guys would admit, I have nerves. I feel like there's something in me. I don't think I will even make it to the stage. Like guys would admit, but these guys are very confident, man.
Man, that means
I think that is
stuff
what we
coming
need.
in tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be waiting. I have to look at this thing, because this expo is different from
I
the other
remember,
media
I
expos.
remember when we slept at school.
Yeah, that's a very nice.
The day
That's
before.
another.
Wait,
The day before
even
the,
you.
We slept. Remember? Okay, where
We
at
also did,
MBI,
yes.
we slept there. I think we had to come from the expo, the last day of the expo. Then tomorrow was their, you know,
the inter-university
the
newsroom.
the newsroom challenges.
challenge.
And then we had nothing. Like we had compiled
Footage, you have not
footage.
edited.
And remember, we were the first, one of the first people to present in the morning. That was about 9 a.m. You understand? So we
Yeah.
had to sleep at school.
Yeah, it's the same story with us, because by Saturday, we had not yet broken down the stories and edited them. So we needed to, Saturday night, to spend it at the university in the editing room. And in fact, for us, we didn't even have an editor. So we had to get another editor from the filming school to come through, pay him some money, and so that he can
Hey,
also
so you go to
deliver.
Bachuba.
No!
Revelations coming in 2
No,
years later.
but they were
the
still
fellowship.
part of the school, the university.
Don't worry,
As
Eddie.
long as they
He's
were
a film
students.
student, yes.
For as
Don't worry.
long as they
We
were
got a film
students.
student, and he came through and had
Don't
to
worry, Eddie
because
Gamatu
everybody was
Kalhanga,
not
because
professional
your
at that.
fellowship certificate won't be cancelled.
And Ghana Yona will not pin me.
It won't be cancelled. Shouldn't be a worry to you.
my lawyers are there already.
Interestingly, but to me personally, I think this is a very groundbreaking experience for any student who wants to further their, journalistic career. This is a space for you to be at. It is an opportunity, and I actually want to tell the students there: do not use this particular, opportunity for granted. It is one thing that makes you shine, or one thing that I wouldn't want to say that breaks you, but it is upon you to actually rise to the top and hold that, ban and say, here we are, and we're going to go. Because, sometimes Mr. CEO, I want to actually refer to him. He says, yes, there are very many people who have been in this space, but up to now, we do not know where they are. That is also a possibility that can happen. But do not be part of that statistic. You understand? At least be around the fireplace for you to be able to get warmer every day.
Stay close to the fire.
Stay close to the fire.
But the thing is, for me, I want to tell everyone who's taking part in the expo that do it with all your heart. Do not just do it for the sake because you have a team or you have... Because I'm telling you, the Media Challenge initiative will break you or will introduce you to the journalism or to the journalist world.
Exactly.
So, guys, if you are taking part, use one heart, do it with a passion, do not give up, and give all your best at the stage. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be frightening. I don't want to say it's going to be easy. Because you have a lot of faces looking at you straight in the face right now, and the judges, big men in the journalism world and women. So it's going to bring a bit of goosebumps, but just give it your whole. And when you give it your whole...
They used to give us a tip that if you're anchoring live and you don't want to get those nerves, that you look at you don't look in the face of the judges.
Yes.
So like you look.
So
just look up and then.
Did it work for you?
No, but by the way, for me, the technique I used, I was looking at one individual, a friend of mine from university. So I was like anchoring to him alone. And it's him and me. I didn't have a lot of...
There's a difference between anchoring at a media house where you're just facing the camera and then anchoring for a crowd. There are two different things. I think.
Exactly, I can ascertain to that.
Which one do you find comfortable?
Speaking to that camera.
Not the people?
Rather
Not
than
the people.
anchoring to the crowd.
Exactly.
How about you, Dano?
Of course, camera, because man, the crowd can be... No, I mean...
Let me tell you one
Conquering
thing.
nerves is
Let me
very
tell
hard.
you one thing, Eddie Gandan. Even if we say that we get the two of you, you've walked this experience, and tell you to give us an opener right there in front of those students, trust me, you're going to quake.
The truth is, conquering nerves is not something you do once and for all. Like, I conquered nerves, I can't...
Because every stage comes with different nerves.
Exactly.
But the point is, we've developed El Shaddai anyway. Well, I know that the nerves come up, but then we've grown. We've grown through this MCI organization. We've gone through the fellowship.
Gone through,
so right now,
Welcome to the Media Challenge
I don't think
Expo
there's a crowd
2021.
And that should be
We're
the
live in
main
the
goal
social
of the
media
students
fourth
to
floor,
go in the
Zero
fellowship,
Party
because
Museum
all
Hall.
these things you are going to learn in the fellowship. And I can boldly tell you guys that the moment I entered MCI, things became different from the time I entered the fellowship, it became different. I became another.
It was another elevator.
I have seen that every year, at least there's something that adds on.
Speaking about what adds on you, speaking about what gentleman, you two gentlemen adds on you. He has spoken about a critical thing, that is SDG number 17. He has brought it very well clearly, partnership for the goals. I want us to bring this context of the SDGs in this competition, whereby they are different stakeholders, they are different participants in just one group. They are working towards a common goal. So they are partnering together to see that they achieve a certain goal. So I think it is a best
newsroom SDG.
SDG. But away from that, talking about a fellowship being an escalator and changing your entire life as well, I really want to understand the experience of getting to meet prominent people, profound people in the media spaces that we used to see on the screen, and you'll be like, how will I be able to meet Anas Anas? For example, we got a privilege to actually have him on one of our Zoom classes.
Break down who Anas is for the listeners.
He's one of the profound, notable, best investigative journalists.
But then I'm like, I should not think that everyone knows him.
Anas is the best.
Okay, to someone who's watching us, Anas is the best, if not one of the best, investigative journalists this world has ever had. And we had an opportunity through the fellowship, programs to have him speak to us through a particular course of, investigation and all those skills. Yes. But I really want, before we get into the social media studio, I really want to get to know which particular person have you, felt like, yes, I've met this person and I think I've reached to heaven that you never expected to meet.
I don't think I'm the right person to answer that question because I'll give you answers that you won't really.
I only want one person.
Edgar can answer.
No, but the thing is...
No, I mean, I want one person from each and every one of you.
The thing is, for me personally, it's not more about the people I met, the prominent... Because there are many. Now, if I tell you there is Morris that came through, Achamakero came through...
The man who has met Pierre Orumumba.
They are very many. But the thing is, for me...
This man who chooses with the
Let me give you a round of applause.
This guy chooses with Kanye Ihamba, Pierre Orumumba.
Okay, so the thing is this, guys. For me, it's more of the individuals I met, the El Shaddai, the dance. Because I realized I had a team, first of all, that I can count on, not only in academia, but also in my personal life. Then I also got people who could help me in the various challenges I had. Now, if I knew that I was not good at editing, El Shaddai would do that. And it's more of the people, the fellows that I connected with, that I actually got from more than the people who, yes, they came and trained, yeah, but I got more from Dan and El Shaddai than I could get from, those big guys that came through.
Maybe if I could mention El Shaddai is that, to everyone outside there listening, is that, of course, through MCI and then all these programs, we meet all these prominent people in the journalism field, but use your chance wisely when you meet a person. I mentioned something earlier that it is not about a picture or selfie on social media. Yes, you will get the likes, you will get the comments, but then at the end of the day, but there's someone who always says that you always chill with Vagaga, but when you need Rukumi, you come to me. So the point is, if you manage to come across a prominent person, try to fix up something with them, kind of a relationship. And sometimes it's not a must that has to work out.
Yes.
Yes, if you try to connect up with a person and doesn't work, please, because it's not a must, they have their own personal lives. And then if they don't really connect, but then we've had these people, prominent people who have really connected with us. That's also another thing we can really give thanks to God and MCI that we've had prominent people who have really connected, who have changed our lives. Like me, for example, the mentors I had through MCI, they gave me platforms. And even up to now, we still have chats. I also still reach out to them and I'm like, there's this step I'm taking in life. There's this decision I'm going to make. Do you think it is wise enough? There's this kind of opportunity that is here. If I want to apply for it, how do I go about it? So you see how, not using, but let me use the word use. You see how you use those kind of connections, for example.
That is a good storyteller, and we can definitely sleep here. But to me, it feels like having a contact of the president of Uganda, and you can call them directly at any time, and they pick up. There are various people that I actually pick my phone and call, that very many people just desire to be close to. That is a very nice experience.
I think that is an overstatement. The president of this country is profound, more profound than the individuals you're trying to assert that. You know how you say it's like calling the president of Uganda.
Edgar Matthew, you definitely get me jailed. But let's connect to the social media studio and find out what is trending on social media. What are people saying about this particular day? And probably for the entire 3 days that we've laid back, what have people picked through, some of the highlights that they've taken, and probably finding out how are ready are several people, most especially in this particular space, are ready for tomorrow as well. Whoever is in the social media studio, please, Marcella, connect to me and, you know.
Hello, El Shaddai. It's nice to see you. Hello, Edgar Matthew in the radio studio. We are live at the social media studio. I'm Marcella Riso. A very good morning to you. I'm with some of the students and participants for tomorrow's expo. And guess what? They're very excited, but I think they're a bit tensed up. They're going to share with us what the experience has been generally. But also, they're going to have to just share with us. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Marcella.
How are you guys doing?
Personally, I'm doing good.
So from Monday to yesterday, Wednesday, we've been having conversations surrounding the SDGs, and the theme has been promoting effective media coverage of the SDGs in Uganda. What was your main highlight for the days that we had, the 3 days, from the keynote speakers, the light talks that we had, and then just general conversations that were being moderated by the panelists? I'll start with you.
Yes.
Your name first.
Thank you very much, Marcella. I'm Richard Chividi from Uganda Matters University. I am Richard Chividi from Uganda Matters University, and it has been a good experience since day one. And my best SDG was SDG number 5, that is gender equality. There was a very big conversation there. It was interesting because people were like, why are they always saying women empowerment? Yet we have also boys. Why don't they empower boys, you know? It was interesting, and it is my outstanding SDG.
It was your outstanding SDG, but yes. I just want to ask you something. Is this the first time you're participating in the expo?
Yes, it is my first time.
How do you feel?
I'm excited. I don't know. I'm very happy because I don't know what to say, but I'm very happy that I'm participating in this expo.
So you've been talking about gender equality. There's very many conversations that have been going around it and people discussing and saying women are vulnerable, children are vulnerable, and then there's that part where they say, are we talking about equality or equity?
We are talking about equality.
Equality.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. But Chiviri, I want you to make us understand. Now you're preparing for the expo tomorrow.
Yes.
Do you have a team name already? I've seen you guys at the newsroom, people.
Yes, we have a team name. I'm doing the Luganda version.
Wow.
And our team is called Muno TV. So you expect a lot from the Muno TV.
Okay,
yes.
That's very exciting. So how are the preparations going? How is the team?
There is fire in the newsroom, but I know by today evening, everything will be okay.
But I think the pressure is good to just keep you on tenterhooks.
Yes, but I'm even wondering, how do these people who have news bulletins morning, afternoon, evening do it? Because tension is really there in the newsroom.
Okay, thank you so much, Chiviri. I have another handsome gentleman with me here. So tell us your name, your university, and then what stood out for you at the Expo panel discussions.
Yeah, thank you very much, dear viewers. My name is Ijo David. I'm from Uganda Christian University, Mukono, third year. Particularly what stood out for me throughout the expo was, first of all, SDG number 1, no poverty. I was very attentive during that panel, and yeah, they really shed light on poverty. And as an individual, the story I did is on poverty, and I centered on child poverty because we are looking at poverty as something general, but also we forget that there's child poverty. And you know, child poverty is like the foundation of poverty. So
okay, now, Ija,
yeah.
You have to take us slowly. What is child poverty? I'm not understanding. Like the child is poor.
The child is poor. Now, the child can be poor physically, You know, the context of poverty people have is that when you're poor, you don't have money, you don't have this, you look shabby. But child poverty is the failure to give a child basic needs: shelter, education, parental care, parental support, and you know, those kind of things. The basic needs that a child is supposed to have in his growth stages, and the child has no access to them. That child is vulnerable and is poor, and that's what child poverty is.
Thank you for that education.
Particularly, what's the key message I got throughout the expo was research, because the expo was that how can journalists report effective SDGs? I mean, that's the theme. So a couple of panelists advise us that as journalists, we are supposed to research, read, and be knowledgeable. That is something that stood out for me, and I think that's the primary message I've taken from this expo.
Oh, wow, that's very amazing. One of the evenings after, I think it was Tuesday evening, we're privileged to have one of the legendary journalists, Drake, the one of the Vumbula show that was on NBS. I don't know if you remember watching it or anything. He was saying the importance of reading and the importance of being literate is that a journalist needs to know a bit of a lot. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
It makes sense, definitely.
Yeah, because if you're going to have a conversation with people, you're going to need to be informed, because we seek information from you.
That's
and then,
absolute.
Yes. So I'm very glad that you had something you took home from this. So tell me about what's happening in the newsroom and how your team is preparing.
What's happening in the newsroom, of course, it's fire. I have to be honest. There is tension here and there. You know these things. But it's positive fire, because guys are showing that. Actually, people are showing what they can potentially do when they go to the real newsrooms out there, like in the media houses, and that's how it's supposed to be. Particularly my team, we are prepared, we are prepared, and I think by evening we shall be set, just left for the D-Day tomorrow.
I like the confidence, by the way. Is this the first time you're participating?
It's the third time.
And all the times?
The first time I participated was in 2019. Then the second time last year, though last year in the middle there, I pulled out due to some issues of importance.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and then I had to come back. Yes, I said
Guess
I must
what?
come
We're
back.
excited to see you again.
Yeah.
We just can't wait to see what you're going to show tomorrow. We can't wait to see you. Thank you so much.
Very much.
As we prepare to have a second team, and then we send it back to the radio studio, we're going to just have finally an alumni to share with us what the experience has been from the lightning sessions, and then they'll tell us what their take home was. My take home was yesterday during the panel discussion of Leo, and then he was speaking to us about how journalists can effectively write on value of a product rather than just writing about the product. So it just threw light to me that we're not just writing anything about these innovations. We just need to know how are they costly being broken down for these people that are using their innovations, and then there's nothing really different. We can all use the same innovation to make a better innovation that will be a workable solution. Thank you so much, guys.
Marcella.
Thank you so much for
before you
having
let
us.
them go, Marcella,
Yep.
Marcella, if you can hear us.
Yes, El Shaddai.
Okay, now this is Edgar, not El
Oh,
Shaddai.
hi, Edgar. How are you?
I'm okay, Marcella. I hope you're okay.
Yes.
You're looking lovely. I want to just pose a question to one of those nice-looking gentlemen, maybe the one on the extreme left. What are some of the challenges they've gone through compiling these stories? Because I've looked at most of the panels, there have been many, and the different discussions are many. What are some of those challenges they've found while they're building up to tomorrow's presentation?
Okay, Edgar, why don't you just allow one of them to speak?
Yes. Some of the challenges you are facing, going to the field with the equipment, you have to look for where you're going. And asking someone to give you an interview is very, very what? Difficult. Then, you know, we are still students, so some of the of the tactics of editing are new to us. So it's also a problem to us. But I know we are going to make it tomorrow.
Thank you. But I think, how are you overcoming some of these challenges? Which we can't just say you're having challenges and then there's no way you overcoming these challenges, because I believe you have the possible resources, you have equipment, you have personal resource,
Yes.
like human resource in the building.
Yes.
You're actually
Of course,
privileged.
in a team, you can't be a team of 6 people and you don't have someone who knows something. So in a team, we help ourselves. We also get some people from the MCI staff to help us do some editing. So at least we are okay.
Thank you,
Marcella,
Richard.
maybe to the other gentleman putting on the BVB Borussia Dortmund jersey.
My name is Ijo.
Edgar, the name is Ijo. I think you need to pay much
Ijo.
more attention.
Okay. I'm so sorry about it. It's because his jersey is something that attracts me at first. So, Ijo, I'm sorry and apologies for not
It's
calling
okay,
you
Edgar.
Ijo. Just a question. Why did you decide to take part in the MCI Expo this time around? What prompted you?
Come again, please.
What made you take part in the MCI Expo this year? What prompted you to do so?
What made me take part is that I'm passionate about journalism, and being passionate shows that I have to learn. So I feel, yes, of course, at the university I'm learning, but I feel I need the skill, and what made me take part is basically the skill to learn what I don't know.
Wow, the skill to learn what you don't know. Swimming in, waters that you've not swum in before. It's one of the biggest challenges. But
Edgar.
of course, it's good. Yes, please.
There is also one thing I want to say I learned in this year's expo. I remember when I was moderating a session on no poverty, and one of the panelists was speaking. His name was Okothola. He was speaking about how journalists can change the narrative on how they can report these SDGs better. He spoke about storytelling, and these days, each story that you tell that's personalized, I think is more effective than if you just write a story, or causes of deforestation in Uganda, what. How about you pick a story about someone in an actual place that was affected by this deforestation and how they're trying to overcome it? I think MCI is offering these unique tactics on how we can write better stories and tell better stories. If you remember from how Caleb introduced himself,